Do you get it? I don't think you get it because you're still hanging around with women who don't get it. This is the secret that no one has told you about becoming that girl with that level of confidence. And we're not talking about 4 tips to becoming confident. That's child's play. I am going to break this video down into 4 phases that will serve as an entire blueprint on how to build a personal world of confidence that will literally transform your life. Phase number 1 is building an ecosystem of confidence. This is going to relate entirely to the outside world. I want you to think of your ecosystem as the surrounding perimeter of your body. This bubble, invisible shield, is your ecosystem. You are the organism. Your mind, your body, your spirit, and everything connected in here, those are the organisms interacting with each other. And this right here is the ecosystem in which you reside. So in your ecosystem, you, your mind, your body, your spirit are all interacting with one another, and to have harmony in this ecosystem, the proper things must be provided to its organisms, aka you, your mind, your body, your spirit. There should be bodyguards around your bubble at every entry point, screening exactly what is entering your ecosystem and penetrating the organism. Because what enters your ecosystem is so incredibly important for the growth of your organism. So I want you to pretend like you literally have bodyguards at each entry point of your bubble, screening what is coming in, and you should only be allowing things that are helping you into your bubble. So things that are dangerous should be an immediate no. It should be like, we're not letting that thing, that person, that situation, that circumstance into our bubble because that's not helping us. That's actually harming us. So we only want things to enter our ecosystem of confidence that are helpful to us. So you have to ask yourself when you're in situations, is this helping me? Is this helping my confidence? Is this harming my confidence? Things that are dangerous to your ecosystem should be removed immediately. So start taking inventory right now. One of the biggest things that should be removed from your ecosystem of confidence are women with no self-worth. Women who have no standards for themselves in their life, in the people that come into their life, in the situations and the circumstances that they entertain, in the thoughts that they have. These women are not going to help you on your confidence journey. If you are on your own confidence journey, but you hang around with women who don't have confidence, who have no standards for life, who have no boundaries, who don't have self-worth or self-esteem, they are not going to help your confidence journey because you might have confidence in your own space, in your own world, and then you step out into the outside world with these women who have no confidence, and they are just going to bring you right back down to that space of no confidence. They're not going to level you up. They're not going to hype you up. They're going to bring you down because they don't have confidence. So if you're getting ready, you put on a cute outfit, you're feeling yourself that day, you go outside, your friends have no confidence, they're not going to give you the proper nutrients that you need to grow your confidence. They are going to deplete you of said nutrients, aka confidence. Because unconfident people want to be surrounded by unconfident people. It's like this soup of unconfident, no self-worth, no self-esteem, no self-respect, and now you're adding yourself as an ingredient into that soup. You are then a key ingredient in the unconfident soup because now you have inserted yourself and now you're stewing with all of these different people who have no self-confidence, who have no self-worth, no self-esteem. You are hanging around with people who don't have the thing that you're trying to strive for. Those women are going to try and bring you back to their reality. They don't want somebody hanging around with them who has confidence because that's just a mirror. You will then be holding up a mirror to this person to say, hey, you don't have confidence, you don't like yourself. You know how when a group of girls get together who don't really have confidence, they don't really like themselves, they'll all sit in the mirror and look at themselves and be like, oh, I'm so fat, oh, my hair looks like shit, oh, I'm so ugly. And then you have to chime in and be like, oh, yeah, I don't feel good about myself either. God, my hips are... Wonder what is entering your ecosystem, what is filled around your bubble. Are you hanging around with women who have no confidence of their own, with no self-worth, who don't like themselves, who don't really care to strive to be the best version of themselves? 2, what kind of energy is entering your ecosystem? Is it positive energy? Is it negative energy? Are you constantly expelling energy on things that are being sent to you to destroy your peace intentionally? Are you constantly worried about what other people are thinking? Are you constantly listening to other people's opinions and judgments? Are you constantly trying to seek their validation? Are you constantly getting yourself in a tiz over a guy who didn't text you back? Are you constantly sending texts text paragraphs to try and convince somebody why they should be with you and beg for their attention. If you are, that is all precious, vibrant energy that is leaving your ecosystem, and now you yourself are depleting yourself of the proper nutrients that you need. So what is entering your ecosystem, but what is exiting your ecosystem? Both need to be monitored. You cannot have negative energy penetrate your ecosystem, and you cannot have positive energy, vibrant, juicy energy that you need within yourself leaving your ecosystem. Another thing from the outside world I want to touch on is what you are consuming. So are you consuming gossip? Are you constantly consuming silly chatter with other people about irrelevant things going on in Hollywood? Are you constantly consuming social media where you're comparing yourself to other women? Who do you follow on social media? What is your consumption like? Are you on there like 13 hours a day? Are you on there just staring at Instagram models being like, oh my God, I wish this was me. I wish I had that body. I wish I had that face. I wish I had that boyfriend. I wish I had that life. That is all things entering your ecosystem that are harmful to your organism, yourself. So why are you doing it? You have to have a very strict and diligent screening process for what is entering your bubble, because all of those things compiled together and singularly are destroying your confidence. Phase number 2 is building a relationship with yourself. This is focused all on your inner world. We know what and who should be in your ecosystem, but now let's talk about how to let the most important organism in your ecosystem flourish, and that is yourself. Step number 1 to executing phase number 2, building a relationship with yourself, is you have to get to know who you are, separate from your outside world. Like I said earlier, your outside world is your consumption, who you're allowing into your life, what you're allowing into your mind, what you're allowing into your energy field. Those are all external factors. Who are you separate from all of those things? Who are you when you're by yourself? Who are you without friends? Who are you without that social media account? Whatever it is, who are you as an individual with nothing else other than yourself? You have to figure that out, and you figure that out by doing shadow work. So here are some prompts. If you want more, just go on Google, type in shadow work prompts, and really start sitting with those, journaling, and getting to know yourself. And you supplement the shadow work with actually taking yourself out, going on dates with yourself, sitting at home by yourself, taking a bath by yourself, sitting with thoughts, and not just having a bath and then watching YouTube or Netflix. It means having a bath and sitting there and thinking about life, thinking about who you are. How do you feel in this moment? How does Vikita feel in this moment? Okay, why did I say that certain thing to that certain person? Why did that trigger me? Why did that bother me? Why am I stewing about this? Why am I ruminating about this? These are all things that you have to constantly ask yourself on a day-to-day basis to really understand who you are. And I'm gonna do a video on this, but you should also be dating, okay? While you're healing and while you're getting to know yourself, you should also be dating. Who do you want in your life? What kind of person are you looking for? What are your non-negotiables? What are your green lights? What are your reds? Absolutely not. You can't be with somebody if you don't know what you want out of life. If you don't know who you want, if you don't even know who you are, you have to figure out who this organism is, and then you can start adding the proper nutrients to said organism to help it flourish in the best, most beautiful way that it's meant to. My nutrients for my growth are different from your nutrients. They might have similar themes, but they vary because we want different things out of life. We might want similar themes. We might want a great lifestyle, financial freedom, the freedom to work from anywhere in the world. We might want those similar things, but the actual nuance, the little things are going to be very different. So my nutrient, my protocol of what nutrients that I need to be feeding myself are going to be different than yours. So it's so important that you learn who you are, what you want, what makes you happy, what makes you really annoyed and irritated. What are your pet peeves? What do you need for yourself in order to recharge? Some people get recharged in social settings, some get recharged by themselves. I'm one of those people. I need my alone time, but I've only been able to figure that out by being alone and then putting myself in social settings for a prolonged period of time. So you have to start understanding what those things are for yourself. And that is why you go on solo dates. Going out in public, sitting in a restaurant, taking yourself shopping. I used to never be able to do that. Like, that was the most terrifying thing in the world. I always had to have somebody with me to do an errand. Now it's my favorite thing in the world. Going by myself to do an errand, because not only does it build confidence and social confidence and charisma, by the way, subscribe, I'm gonna do a video on that. It also helps you build the trust within yourself. Like, wait a second, I can go do this. I can go make conversations with strangers. I am safe on my own, by myself, doing what I want to do and not needing somebody else to fill in the space. Pure confidence comes from knowing who you are. You cannot live this life not knowing who you are, because if you try, you are going to have a very miserable time. You are going to allow things into your ecosystem that do not belong there, that are harmful, that are not providing you with the growth that you need. You are not going to know which direction you need to take. You are going to listen to the opinions of others. You are going to take on those judgments and that criticism because you are allowing somebody else to tell you who you are. If you don't have your own personal identity, you cannot have confidence because you don't trust yourself. And when you don't trust yourself, you feel incompetent being on your own, being who you are, and having that radical knowing that this is what I want, this is where I'm going. Step number 2 is establishing a good rapport with yourself. You cannot talk to yourself in a disrespectful way. If you use abusive language to yourself, if you disrespect yourself, if you are constantly criticizing and judging yourself, what makes you think that same energy is not going to circulate your life by you allowing others to do those same things to yourself? If you don't have a standard for how you speak to yourself, you are not going to have a standard for how others speak to you. If you don't have boundaries with yourself, like things that are just off limits to say to yourself, you're not going to have firm boundaries with other people. You are going to allow whatever into your ecosystem. If your organism itself is harming itself. If you're in a relationship with another person, right, you are hopefully going to express your needs, express your wants, communicate with that person, and build a healthy relationship. That is the exact framework you need to apply to yourself. You're abusing yourself by pushing yourself too hard, striving for perfectionism, by being overly demanding to yourself, by insulting yourself, by judging yourself, by shaming yourself, by guilting yourself, by belittling yourself. So building this strong rapport with yourself, it basically tells you that no matter what, you deserve to respect yourself. You can't get anywhere with self-worth and building this relationship with yourself if you don't respect yourself as a human, as a person that deserves everything that they want in their life. Number 3 is good communication with yourself. This kind of goes off the previous point. You have to be able to communicate with yourself without beating yourself up about something. So good communication is addressing an issue with yourself and saying, how can I learn from this? How can I get better? How can we do better? Without beating yourself up and saying, I'm awful. Why did I suck at this? You have to have a sense of neutrality within this dialogue upstairs in your inner matrix. You are allowed to get better and strive for better within yourself without beating yourself up about it. If you took a test and you didn't do very well, and the night before you studied really hard, instead of coming at yourself like, oh, you're so stupid, you studied all night long, but you still failed, you come at yourself with a sense of neutrality, like, okay, what needs to be improved here? So I studied all night, I didn't do very well on the test. Is everything okay still? Yes, the world is still moving, we're gonna be okay. For the next test, maybe I have to prepare 2 or 3 days in advance. That is the way that you have to talk to yourself. You have to be a good communicator with yourself. How are you feeling today, Vikita? I'm feeling very well today, Vikita. Thank you for asking. We just have to be nice. Just talk to yourself in a very nice way, because I'm telling you right now, this is the one thing that helped me the most building my confidence, my love for myself, and my self-worth, was learning how to talk to myself and learning how to address issues within myself in a diplomatic way that doesn't hurt me, that doesn't make me feel even worse about myself, because you would never talk to a friend or a loved one in that way. So why would you talk to yourself in that way? You are the most important person in your life, and that's one thing that I have truly learned on this journey. You are the most important person in your life. You have to have the most juiciest, vibrant, magnetic relationship with yourself first, because then you will have standards up here for every person coming into your life, into your ecosystem. Everything will be in a very high regard because you have a high regard for yourself. So why would you let anything lower than that regard for yourself enter your life? You just wouldn't. Number 4, self-reliance. You build a relationship with yourself by trusting yourself and following through with the promises that you make for yourself. So for example, this video, I told myself I was gonna wake up at 6 a.m. today, and I woke up at 5:45. That is a promise that I kept to myself because I have things to do. Now, if I didn't keep that promise to myself, the next time I tried to say, hey, I'm gonna wake up this time, I would have that mistrust with myself because I didn't do it the first time, so why would I think that I'm gonna do it the next time? And then I wouldn't do it. And the next thing you know, I don't do it again, and I don't do it again. And then I'm just not waking up early. So that relationship with myself is, if I say I'm going to do something, then I have to do it. And if I don't do it, then it's not a big deal. However, I just know the repercussions of it. But we're gonna try again. You have to keep the promises that you make to yourself with yourself. So in this moment, make a contract with yourself. Anything that you say must be fulfilled. You must follow through with it. Now, I do give myself some grace here in this regard, because we cannot just say that we're gonna do something and then 100% of the time follow through with it. Things come up, life comes up. So what I decided to do with myself, and you can take this if you want, is I'll give myself like 2 or 3 passes a month to break a promise. Let's say I said I was gonna get up at 6 a.m. one day, but then I woke up and I just didn't really feel well. I can go back to bed, and that's 1 pass. So now I have only 2 left. So I give myself these passes here and there, but I only allot a certain amount, and I cannot keep giving myself a pass. This is the kind of discipline that you have to create with yourself, because you are in charge. You are the boss, you're the manager, you're the admin, you do everything for yourself. So you setting a promise, breaking that promise, you have to have the discipline to be like, okay, we broke a promise today, we have 2 left, and I will not give myself a 3rd, because it's so easy for us to be like, it's fine, I'm gonna give myself a 4th, I'm gonna give myself a 5th. Next thing you know, the whole month is gone. You haven't woken up at 6 a.m., you've woken up at 10 a.m. every single day. So how do you rewire the abusive language that you might be using with yourself? This is a challenge that I urge you to participate in, because this is one of the things that completely transformed my life. Next thing I knew, I was looking in the mirror and I was looking at myself objectively versus subjectively. If you don't know the difference, objective means you're looking at it in a macro way, so like in a grander picture, you can see things for what they really are with no emotional attachment to it. Subjectively is you're analyzing deeply, you're like got a magnifying glass and you're looking at this thing in every detail and every aspect and like picking apart things. Promise yourself that every time you look in the mirror, because if you look in the mirror as much as I look in the mirror, then you look in the mirror a lot. So what I had to tell myself was, when I look in that mirror, I shan't say one bad thing about myself. And if I have the urge to, I will walk away from that mirror. And in that moment that you are about to say something negative to yourself in the mirror, you completely just stop the thought. You cut it. If I was looking in the mirror back in the day when I was first starting this, and I was about to say something really negative about myself, I would just look at myself and be like, nope, and then I'd walk away. That's what you have to do. You have to train yourself every single day. So that is how you stop the abusive language with yourself. Every time you're about to have an abusive language or an abusive thought about yourself, you say, nope, nope, and that's it, and then you move on to something else and you focus your attention somewhere else. You don't get the urge and then give into the urge and focus on the urge and feed the urge, because then the urge grows and then the pattern grows and then the cycle grows. So when you get the urge, because in the beginning stages of building confidence, you will get that urge, you have to cut it off at the knees and say, nope. Saying the no word is like pesticide for these negative thoughts. Number 5, set yourself as the beauty standard. Right now, you might be looking at all of these other different women thinking how much more beautiful they are, their body's so good, ooh, they look so good, their butt's amazing, perfect facial features, perfect face shape, she's a perfect height, she has perfect clothes, whatever it is, you have set somebody else as a beauty standard. So when you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't see that beauty standard that you idolize, that you put on a pedestal, you are then going to automatically condition yourself to think of yourself as ugly, because you have a beauty standard in your head, and then you look in the mirror and you don't see that beauty standard being fulfilled within yourself. So that automatically means that you are going to look at yourself and be like, ew. And why do I know that? Because I used to do that. I used to have this idea of a woman in my head that was so beautiful. She had perfect round hips, because I have hip dips, a thigh gap, beautiful hair, a certain race, certain skin color, certain facial features, and that was my standard of beauty. And then when I looked in the mirror and saw that that person didn't exist in myself, I would look at myself and be like, how could you? You are vile. Why don't you look like this? And that then creates this hatred toward yourself for not fulfilling a beauty standard that you have conjured up in your head. Yes, we get fed a beauty standard in social media, in society, but it's our decision and our choice to accept that as the beauty standard. Instead, we can look in the mirror and say, I am the beauty standard. I fulfill my version of what I think is beautiful. You have to set yourself as a beauty standard and look at yourself as the most beautiful thing in the world, because you are, okay? You are. If you don't do that, you are going to constantly compare yourself to other women, and what is that going to do for you? That is not going to bring you confidence. That's not going to bring you self-esteem. If you're on this confidence journey, but you constantly scroll social media, like I said, what is entering your ecosystem? If your social media right now is filled with Instagram models, Megan Fox, Kylie Jenner, Kim Kardashian, unfollow, 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 unfollow. You do not need to be following people who you are putting on a pedestal as the most beautiful thing in the world, and then looking in the mirror and seeing that that doesn't exist within yourself, and then getting mad at yourself and hating yourself and feeling disgust for yourself. The things that make you beautiful are the things that make you unique. I've touched on this in previous videos. Start outlining what your uniqueness is and start emphasizing that, start elevating that, and start bringing attention to that, because that is where your beauty lies. You might have ginger hair. That's the most beautiful thing about you. Kim Kardashian doesn't have orange hair, but you know who does and who's just as equally as beautiful is Madeline Petch. I'm a brown-skinned woman. Now I go look at Margot Robbie and like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. And then I'll look in the mirror and I won't see Margot Robbie. We're in two different lanes. I can still objectively look at her and say she's stunning, but then I can also look at myself subjectively and say, you are that woman. Look at somebody as beautiful, but then also look at yourself who doesn't look anything like this person you think is beautiful, and still say, I am beautiful. The last step in phase 2 to building a relationship with yourself is bringing attention to your personality. This, my friends, is the key. When I was younger, I relied solely on my appearance to make me feel beautiful. And that just was not going to happen. That is not reality. You have something inside of yourself that nobody else has. This is where you are going to start gaining your confidence initially. Write down on a piece of paper right now, or at the end of this video, but make sure you watch the whole video, and outline what value inside you are bringing. Okay, so what is coming out of your mouth? Are you very intelligent? Do you have a lot of fun facts? Like, do you just know things about things? And like other people are like, wait, what the heck, how do you know that? Are you witty? Are you sarcastic? Are you sweet? What is your personality? What do you bring to a conversation? Those are the things that you have to start outlining. That is going to give you that first initial hit of confidence, because then you can start leading with that. Focusing on your personality is the easiest way to build momentum when you start your confidence journey. Because if you're just relying on your appearance, but then you look in the mirror and see this like gargantuan beast, where do you think that's gonna leave you? You are gonna look at yourself and be like, I'm ugly, I am a beast. 2, I don't know what's going on in here. Building an identity, building a relationship with yourself, knowing who you are, knowing what value you expel when you open your mouth, those are all things that you're gonna sit there and be like, wait a second, I am not just my appearance. You can actively take away your spirit from your body. This is just a vessel in which you're living life through. It doesn't mean much. It can help you, it definitely helps you, and I always talk about appearance because it is a huge thing, but it's not the only thing that makes you valuable. It's not the only thing that should bring you confidence. It's what's in here that should also bring you confidence. Phase number 3 is personal landscaping. So, a little bit of a contradiction because I just said it doesn't really matter, but it does really matter. Maintaining your appearance, both go hand in hand. You have to do both simultaneously. Build an identity that you love, what's going on inside, but also what's going on outside, because the external world matters. Because when somebody speaks, their words only hold weight if the vessel those words are coming from looks important. Okay, so if you look like a gargantuan beast from the outside, no personal landscaping is being done, nobody's going to listen to what you have to say. Nobody's going to think it's valuable because the vessel it's coming from looks disheveled. Here's an example. You're going to look at houses and apartments, okay? You're house shopping. And you go to the apartments, and the outside of the building, the pictures looked great, but the outside of the building looked a mess. There was weeds, no flowers, the flowers are dead, there's dried up stuff, there's critters everywhere, like it just, the windows are dirty, it just looks awful. You will have an instant negative first impression, and you won't even want to go inside and look at the apartment or look at the house. Because if the outside isn't taken care of, if the outside of the house, if the outside of the apartment building doesn't look like it's taken care of, what makes you believe that the inside will be taken care of? You'll automatically assume problems, you'll automatically assume lack of care, lack of management, lack of maintenance. It's the same for your appearance, and you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell you again because appearance matters. Personal landscaping is very important when it comes to building confidence. The internal is the most important, but it has to be supplemented by the personal landscaping, the outside appearance. Both go hand in hand. Phase number 4 is mindsets. So there's 2 mindsets I want to cover. The first one is very conceited. This advice is going to change your life. The law of thought transmission tells us that what we think about ourselves is getting put into the minds of others. So I want you to think of it like this. This right here, this hand, is how the world functions. We are all an extension of each other. This palm right here is source energy. Source energy resides in each one of us. If I go like this, by the way, don't mind my nails. I just finished talking about appearance, yet my nails look crazy. It's because I was on vacation. These all look like separate entities. That is what we have been taught to believe. We are all separate entities, but we are not. We are all connected to one source. So what I think about myself will get transmitted into your mind, and you will then think that of me. If I think of myself, if I go into a room and I think how awkward I look, I feel really shy, oh my god, why is everyone looking at me, I look so ugly, is there something in my teeth, is there a booger? People are going to pick up on that, and they are then going to have the same thoughts. So to counter that, when you walk into a room, anytime you talk to somebody, wherever you go, you are going to believe that every single person looking at you wants to be with you. Every woman that's complimenting you wants to be you. Every man wants to be with you. The stranger at the cashier thinks you're amazing, you're so beautiful. The room that you have to walk into with a bunch of people, they're all looking at you thinking, how does she do it? She's amazing, she's beautiful, she's stunning. You are truly believing that every single person looking at you is admiring you. That is how you have to rewire yourself, because those thoughts will get transmitted into their minds and they will start thinking that of you. You will start getting compliments, you will start getting that external validation, not that you need it, but it helps when you're first starting your confidence journey, and you will feel like, damn, I've done it. I'm that girl. Last mindset I want to cover, objective versus subjective mindset. We talked about this earlier in the video, but you have to have an objective mindset when you look at yourself. You have to look at yourself. This all comes back to the communication that you also have with yourself and the language that you choose to use with yourself. My hair could be like this, okay? I could just be having an awful hair day, but that doesn't mean I'm ugly. I could have a pimple, but that doesn't mean I'm ugly. That is an objective mindset. Versus when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see a pimple, you see a bad hair day, your eyebrows don't look great today, you look at yourself subjectively and say, oh my god, that is why I'm ugly. It's because my eyebrows all up like this. That pimple is making me so ugly. That is all subjective. You are analyzing yourself too much. Take away the microscope, leave it for Sherlock Holmes, we don't need it. Objective confidence is overall confidence, inner knowing, inner trust, believing who you are, believing in yourself, and having a very strong sense of self. Your identity is strong, okay? It's concrete. Subjective confidence is confidence that relies on a singular moment, a singular compliment, a singular interaction, but you're not deeply confident. You don't have that deep sense of confidence. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, you are going to fixate on that pimple. You are going to take that compliment somebody gives you and use that as fuel for the next week as your confidence. But then that confidence will go away because then you need another hit of external validation. You need another compliment for your confidence. So you're relying on those singular moments, those singular compliments as fuel for your confidence. When you have an objective mindset, you are confident. You just are. You don't need a compliment. You don't need somebody to tell you look good. You just know, like, I'm putting on my outfit and I want to look good. Like, I don't need to hear a compliment. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe down below. Tell me what videos you want to see next. Tell me what part of the video resonated. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification so that you don't miss when I upload.